Hello everybody, welcome to another First Impressions video. I'm Scott from WhatCulture.com and I'm joined by Ben.
Hello Scott.
Hello, and you've been playing Dishonored 2.
I have, yeah. Those people who actually watched my unboxing video last night will know that it arrived yesterday. It is out today.
Yes.
On many consoles. I have only had a few hours to play it, but I thought we could have a little discussion.
It's now tomorrow.
Yeah. I think time is linear, right? The point is, it's out and I've played about 4 hours of it.
Yes.
So we're going to talk about it.
So first up, how is it?
Well, I played the hell out of Dishonored 1 when that released a few years ago on PS3, and I got the Platinum Trophy in that because that's what I do. I collect Platinum Trophies.
That's insane.
So I played the hell out of that, but it has been a few years since I played it, so it's very difficult to compare it now.
It feels like ages
I'm sure
ago since
it was. I think it was 2010, maybe.
I want to say 2011, but yeah,
yeah, around that time. But I can't really offer a side-by-side comparison because it's been quite a while. I haven't played the remastered version for PS4, for example. But immediately, just the very unique sense of style that they've got, that Arcane Studios have got with Dishonored, really shines through. I love the sort of steampunk Victorian world that it's set in, with the weird technology that doesn't really make sense in our world. It's very bizarre, like the carriages that are very ornate and yet on rails and electrified, and it's still got that rawness of, if you touch those wires or those rails, you are going to die, and there's not a lot to stop you from doing that, and people do die.
Is there a lot of whale oil kicking about?
There is whale oil, although there is less of it because there was a big deal made out of that in the first game. And of course, in the first game, there was a rat plague, which was running rampant. That's now been sorted. And instead, in this new land that you go to, they've got blood flies, which are horrid. So blood flies lay eggs in dead people. And then they hatch out very quickly. They're great big flies, and they're harmless in, if there's 2 or 3 of them. But they have entire buildings just sort of on lockdown that more often than not you will need to go through to get something or to find secrets. And yeah, you'll hear them. There'll be giant angry red sort of honeycomb nests in there all over the place. And you go in, and if they're attracted to speed and movement and sound.
And the living.
And the living, really.
How much of an environmental hazard are they, and how much do they get in the way of the general gameplay?
Well, as yet, I haven't encountered a place where there are actual enemies and blood flies at the same time. They seem to be exclusively in their own area.
Because you must be able to seek them on the enemy somehow.
Probably. You can destroy the nests using crossbows, for example. So I imagine that will come into effect at some point. But that currently hasn't happened. But to sort of set up the premise of Dishonored 2 and what's happened. You play as, or you don't have to play, you can play as Emily or Corvo.
Does it just let you choose from the very beginning?
It doesn't at the very beginning. At the very beginning, you are Emily. You are first person Emily.
Oh, cool.
And the way they do they have a few sort of cinematic cutscenes, but most of the time, all the cutscenes are in first person, and you have sort of a limited control of the right analog stick to look around at what's going on. So yeah, you're Emily. You're celebrating really. It is the term they use in the game. The 15th anniversary of her mother's death, and she's there in the sort of the receiving area of the Empress's palace. So you're walking up to the throne. You sit down. And the Lord Protector, who is also your father, Corvo, the protagonist from the first game, is also there. And basically, you sit down, and he says some things to you, blah, blah, blah. And then someone comes in and says, hey, we're from a foreign land. We wanted to pay tribute to you. Here's someone who's going to take your throne. And then,
Thrones.
Yeah, exactly. So then there's a huge coup. At the time, I was playing it and thought, this is a bit weird. Why is it suddenly, because the guy who just popped up says, arrest them, arrest the usurper, the usurper of the throne. And they're just like, cool, yeah, let's arrest the usurper. And I thought, this is weird. But then actually, as it continues, it turns out there was a massive coup, and you come across loads of dead guards as well. You get surrounded, and it's like, would you like to play as Emily, or would you like to play as Corvo? Corvo obviously comes with all his powers from the first game, although I haven't played as Corvo yet, so I don't know if it does the video game thing where it rips your powers away.
I don't think
and you have to build it up from the start, or how that would work. But Emily obviously doesn't have the mark from the outsider, so she's got no powers to begin with, and
none at all.
It's not to begin with, and it's not for a little while until you actually meet the outsider, and even then you can refuse him and start a playthrough without powers.
Okay, that's cool. I know it's ridiculous because the whole selling point is the powers. I know. I quite like that.
it's absurd, and it really emphasizes that you can play this game in how, whatever manner that you want.
Right.
And that is evidence as soon as you get out of the palace, as soon as you escape Dunwall and go to the new location. I don't think anyone would to begin with, because that would be madness.
But if you didn't know, the outsider was the one who granted the powers, you might think.
True, if you hop straight into Dishonored 2, maybe, yeah.
That reminds me of No Man's Sky, where you can just say, I don't want to do the quest thing, and you just go. Just don't do the game.
Just get out of there.
Yeah. Cool.
But yeah, as soon as you escape and you go to the new place, it's very obvious that you can tackle areas however you want, because at least from where I am currently in the game, your base of operations is sort of a boat that's helmed by an ally, and then they just, whenever you progress the plot, you go up to the little sort of lifeboat on the side, and they say, right, do you want to go to the new place now? And they'll take you to a new area.
Right, cool.
But it's not a linear place at all. It's big. They're big areas where you can go through the buildings with the blood flies in that are infested, or you can sneak through the alleyways, or you can use the equivalent of Blink from the first game to teleport up and just hide from everyone, or you can charge straight through.
So in those sort of small areas or whatever, is there a way, can you switch characters for one, and are there side missions to pick up on, or can you just explore?
No, immediately after you select your character, I don't know what would happen if you picked Corvo, but Corvo, if you select Emily, Corvo is basically trapped in carbonite, essentially. And
it's been a while since someone's been trapped in carbonite.
Yeah, so it appears that the usurper has powers of her own, and then it's you basically working from this boat, going through locations systematically to retrieve allies from the first game and incapacitate her inner circle before essentially building back up to going to Dunwall and taking her out.
Oh, cool.
And the Duke of this new location that you go to is basically one of her besties. So I'm having great fun so far. I will say that I am trying to play it sneakily and not killing anyone. A source of irritation for me so far is that when you get spotted and they all come charging at you and you parry them, you can parry them, knock them back, and then you don't have to do a lethal attack. You can do a non-lethal attack where you grab them around the throat or whatever. But their friends are stupid, right? And they'll come swinging at you anyway, and they'll just cut them down. And that counts as you killing them. So, okay. And even when there's a big gaggle of them, which has happened to me a lot, because I'm bad. Yeah, gaggle of baddies. If they all start swinging at you, and they hit each other, which sometimes they do, then
that ruins your non-lethal playthrough?
Ruins your kill count for that level, which isn't so bad, because I think it's a general thing where there's a good ending and a bad ending. It rates you in terms of how chaotic your character is, how much chaos you leave in your wake. Obviously, you don't want to leave loads of bodies, because that means blood flies are going to be there, that kind of stuff, which will really scupper you later on.
So what's the most creative kill you've done so far, if any?
Well, I haven't done much killing. I don't have to, but I will tell you the kind of stuff you can do if you don't kill, because I know a big selling point is the killing, and obviously I haven't had it for too long. When we do the full review next week, I will try to do I will try to play through as Corvo as a madman and killing everything.
But you can still be stealthy, but you can do fancy.
Yeah, you can link up your powers and stuff. So essentially, what I did was you're told to go and take out the crown killer, who has been framing you and your father for these kills, basically taking out all of your political adversaries, making you look really bad. And you find out who it is, and someone talks to you, one of her victims talks to you as he's dying, says, no, she's a good person, she's just under this mind-controlling drug, she's being drip-fed. So yeah, but you're in her lair, essentially, and she's skulking around trying to kill you. And
that's well cool.
If you go, basically, you can just go up and stab her in the back, or because if you try a non-lethal takedown, she'll turn around and push you away. So you have to kill her. Or if you loot the corpse of the guy who just died, there are instructions on how to create a serum, and you have to go further into that building to get the serum to come back, and then stealth take her down with the thing, and then she comes back onto the boat and helps you out. Or you can just kill her, and that's the end of the mission, and you just leave and run away. So even though I'm not doing ridiculous, crazy kills, there is a huge variety in gameplay still available to me. But there we go. That's all for now.
It is.
But make sure you check back next week for our full review. And if you are getting it today, I hope you enjoy it, because it is very good so far. I've been Ben from What Culture. It's been Scott from What Culture, and thank you for watching.